Hello, everyone. How you guys doing? I'm here today with an amazing person that I met through, of course, the social media, as all we know. This is the new way, right? And for the Positive Vibes Only podcast, I had the pleasure to invite her. Her name is Jaylala from Canada. She's a sex Tantra and porn addiction coach. She's also a sacred intimacy educator, and it's a pleasure to hear from her today and learn a little bit more about ourselves and what we can do to make the world better. Hello, Jaylala. Welcome.
All right.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for making time for us and
Thank you
wake up wake up early. I know it's a huge
Yeah.
difference of time. But I'm happy. So Janela, can you I give a brief introduction about what you do. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, please?
Okay. So, as she says, I am a Tantra coach and I'm a sacred intimacy educator. So I support men, women, and couples to unlock the magic of their own sexuality, but more in a sacred way, so that there's more connection, more love, more intimacy. And I believe that sexuality should be sacred. So that is what I try to make that people are aware. I talk about things that make people very uncomfortable. And it's really funny if I'm going into a meeting room or a Zoom call and they ask me what I do, and everybody's kind of looking like, oh, what are you going to talk about? A lot of people don't understand what Tantra is. So Tantra
Sure.
is really about weaving sexuality and spirituality together so that there is more connection, more intimacy, more love, more openness, open-heartedness, and the type of healthy relationship that most people want. Yeah. And unfortunately, finding it hard to get.
Yeah. Do you think I want to just go back what you said about how people feel uncomfortable. Do you think that's because sex is still a taboo and the word tantra might scare people because, like you say, they don't know what it is, and like in the modern world, it kind of got a little bit twisted, the truth about tantra.
Yeah, both actually, because sex is taboo. Of course, religion has really made it taboo, and so people, especially if they've had very religious upbringings, do find talk about sex as taboo, and we're not supposed to do it, and all these religious indoctrinations that people have been taught through the years, the male patriarchy, all of that. So yes, that's definitely part of it. And then the second part is there's a big misunderstanding about what Tantra is about. I have been asked if, like, oh, does that mean that you do orgies? And like, oh,
Wow.
you teach people about having sex and Kama Sutra and all that stuff, and it's like, oh no, that's not what it's about. It's really quite funny. At first I was like very taken aback by things people say, and no longer I just
Really?
flow, and I try to educate them. That's the thing.
That's good. That's like, I think, what is missing in our society. We are bombarded daily with information, with wrong information about so many
Yes.
topics, and we don't know how to deal with something that's so natural to us, which is our sexuality, right? We see people struggling. You see like we had another day, a very long conversation, very pleasurable conversation that day, about all these things, like what's going on. And it's fun, like people still like just making things like really weird and twisted, instead of like, as you say, like respecting and enjoying the sacred of sexuality, right?
Yes.
Jaylala, tell me, how did you start in this path? How did you found yourself in this journey with
Um,
Tantra?
yeah, yeah, it is quite a different journey, that a path that I took. I started my spiritual journey before I started my Tantra journey. So my spiritual journey started probably about 12 years ago. I had just gotten out of a relationship that was somewhat toxic, with a narcissist. And I was actually trying to find myself. So I started going down a spiritual path. I started reading books. Bob Proctor, I started with Bob
Yeah.
Proctor, and he
Okay.
really changed my life and opened my life up. And I also started reading Think and Grow Rich, and all these different books that kind of made me change my way of thinking, and it just kind of snowballed from there. So I do other things in Tantra. I'm a Reiki master. I do what's called access consciousness bars.
Mm.
I am a theta healer, and the Tantra just fit right into it. So yeah, I use a couple of different modalities when I'm with people and I'm healing. And at that time that I ended up leaving that 8-year relationship, that was the time when online dating was really big. It was just kind of starting, and it was really popular. And I thought, oh, this is so exciting. This is so great. Online dating, I'm going to be meeting so many wonderful people, and they're just going to be able to, connect with me, and we'll have these wonderful relationships. And then I realized it was a cesspool out there.
It's worse than actually going into a meeting or a dating, right? Like going
Oh,
out. So I think it's worse. It's more difficult online dating than in-person dating, like meeting somebody in the street, like before, like used to be, you know.
right. Oh,
Uh,
yeah. Yeah, it was really difficult. I was really, and I was so clued out, I guess, as to what was going on. They would be so, everything was very sexualized. Like, you would get on like a Zoom or something like that, or talk to them or text them, and within 5 seconds it would turn sexual. And I'm like, what is the matter with these people? Like, don't you
give me
want
a
to know
break.
anything about me? Like, what is happening here?
Oof.
And yeah, and it kept happening over and over again. If I went on a date, it was just like, no, I just want sex. I don't want to get to know you. I don't want a relationship. I just want to use you for your body. And
Oh.
I found it to be very, very hard to deal with. I stopped online dating, and I actually wrote a blog, and I really wish this blog would show up somewhere. I'm going to put it out to the universe, because it was a really good blog, and I called it, I Should Have Been Born a Blow Up Doll.
Okay.
Because,
I will try to find it. Let's try to
yeah,
find,
yeah,
guys,
yeah,
everybody.
because that's what I felt like. I felt like I was nothing to them but a blow up doll. And they could have gotten just the same amount of satisfaction with a blow up doll as they did with me. I was no mind, no, substance, no human. I was just a blow up doll to them. And so I stopped online dating, and I said, I can't do this. This is not what I signed up for. There's got to be something out there that's better than this.
Please.
Yes, yes. Yeah. So what I did was I just kind of started going to women's groups, and through women's groups, I found Tantra. And through Tantra, I started to really study what Tantra was about. And I realized that it's about spirituality with the sexuality, that it's about intimacy, it's about love, it's about boundaries and consent. Like, oh my God, the men out there do not know anything about boundaries and consent. Absolutely do not. They believe that that is their God-given right to just do whatever they want to a woman's body.
And the worst is that they don't even know how to do it. Sorry for interrupting. They don't even know what they're doing most of the time. It's just like a mess up culture, because then the woman is trained most of the time to don't speak up. And the men, they go through life believing that whatever they're doing is the correct thing, and that's supposed to be that way. And it's like, we are doomed.
I know. There are so many women that I have talked to that have said that men do not know how to please them sexually. And the thing is, they've never been taught. It's really not their fault, because they've never been taught. I mean, that's why I think there should be so much more education around sex. And then a lot of them have become selfish in the way they treat a woman. It's all about them. That's the old patriarchal way, right? It's all about me. And and then they're wondering why aren't women enjoying sex? Why don't they want to have sex with me?
Yeah. I'm better off. Thank you. Bye. Next.
Yeah, exactly. And I also found out that the porn industry has a lot to do with the way men treat women and the way men have sex. They are educated from a very young age. I found out that usually around the age of 12 to 13 is when boys first start. Yeah,
I'm sorry, in my face, I cannot lie.
They first start watching porn. Wow. They have no idea about sexuality at all, and that is their education. So if that's their education, which is of course not realistic, so if that's their education, the way they proceed and the way they think about what sex is about is a very unrealistic thing. So that really harms women a lot. There's a lot of anyways, they're not aligned. They're not aligned with their heart is what happens. And if they find out in a very young age that they don't have to be intimate, that they don't have to be aligned with their heart, that they don't have to be vulnerable, they don't have to open up, they don't have to use boundaries and consent, that is really messing up the way they're going to be looking at them, at women, at relationships, and themselves.
True.
Yeah.
And it goes together as well with the fact that the parents, they also are not, they were not educated as well on these
Right.
manners, right? So they cannot educate their kids, and then the kids like go to the adult movies and it start and just escalate the whole thing, and it's like generational. It goes and just like piling up. And I saw some documentary, I think I mentioned that the other time, like a girl, she was like being constantly beaten by the guy. They're both 16. They're already having sexual relations. And the guy was always telling her, oh, you need to be like this girl in the movie. And he
Yes.
showed it to her. And she believed that it was okay until it came a point like she couldn't take anymore the beating, you know. And it's like, it is a dangerous subject because like thing because you know, I've been in the adult industry on the other side, you
Yeah.
know. I've been an actress, and it is like I never that was a surprise when you say about 12 and 13 because I never thought about it, to be honest, you know, because I was too busy on my own world, doing my own thing, focusing on making my money and having my fun when I was in the industry. I
Right.
never, honestly, never thought about this consequence, like about the kids. I never thought about it. I'll be lying if I say, oh, yes, I thought. It's a lie, you
Right.
know. And hearing it is just like 12, 13 is like, because I saw my first porn, I was like 19, 18
Mm.
to 19, because it's when I lost my virginity. So the boyfriend was also trying to show me. I was like, no, I never like to watch it. So it's even surprised that I did it because like, I didn't enjoy watching it
Yeah.
at
Well,
all. I still enjoying it.
what made you decide to get into it?
Okay, my ex-husband was very convincing, and
Mm.
we were both broken. So it was also like a case of the man, you know, people don't like, they say, oh, this is a cliche, the woman always blame the man. But I don't blame him because I was responsible, I was already an adult. I said yes to it, but was a lot of oh, you should do it, you know, you should do it because we need money, it's gonna be easy money, you know. And at the beginning was agreed that both gonna do it together only, not involving other partners. And I think the money came a lot like in his mind more than was at my mind at some points, because I was okay with what we were making. But he was like, oh, you got this offer if you go with other guys, you know, you got this if you do a gangbang or things like that. And smart as me said yes, and that's it. Pretty much.
Mm.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what money, greed was the most the goal, you know, money.
Right.
To get.
And that's what's happening with a lot of the people that are in the porn industry, that they get caught up into the money and the greed. And unfortunately, a lot of them can't get out of it because of the vibration of the industry. It is very, very low. So they
Yeah.
get caught up into that low vibration, and then they start, with the drugs, and this, they lose their self-esteem, and there's all kinds of things that kind of happen to them, and then they kind of get stuck in that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It's true because it's like what you're saying. Like I thanks God, like I didn't get involved with the drugs or excess alcohol or these things. I was kind of all quite different from them because of this spiritual side that I always had and always cultivate, you know. I I think that was what saved me at the end.
Mhm.
Like, okay, I need to leave now because otherwise it'll be too late, you know,
Yes.
because I was like, I noticed it was always a issue for the other people in the industry, like, oh, Bruna, you don't drink much, you don't fuck everybody. Sorry for my French, but that's how we talk there. Because it's
Right.
like, it's not enough for you to do your scenes. They want to go home and continue performing, you
Mm.
know, under the influence. And for me, it was just like, dude, I've been having sex the whole day. I want to sleep, you know, I want to eat, do my meditation, do my tapping, and take a nap, you know, for tomorrow next scene. Because I was shooting a lot. Like every day I had like minimum 2 scenes a day, which is a lot for a human. And so that was a thing. And what you said about the low frequencies is definitely true, because I never felt like it was never enough. The money wasn't enough. The sex wasn't enough. You become
Mm.
like this, like hungry ghost. You want more, 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 more of the money, more of the sex. And then one person is not enough. Two is not enough. You want to have a huge orgy at one point. Even though I did only my scenes, it still was not like, I always say like, I felt like wasn't me there, because I
Mhm.
don't remember many things. Like I wasn't drunk on anything, but it's like, you really take the persona and you go. And
Mhm.
that's so the frequency is really like,
Yeah. Yeah,
really.
it's almost like you zone out, like you
Yes.
your soul, it's like I think it's, well, I've never done it, but I think it's like your soul leaves your body and lets your body do what it is in the low vibration, and
Yeah.
then afterwards comes back to you. And it's unfortunate that there's people that get caught up in it and stay in it and don't realize it and can't get out of it.
Yeah. And getting out also, the hardest part is like, my struggle, for example, is with how society treats me, because it's different. It's harder to get a
Yes.
job. It's hard. It doesn't matter like how beautiful is your curriculum. It can be really hard. Only if you're like, maybe in USA you have lucky to be these famous ones, Mia Khalifa or the other one that did a movie in Hollywood as well. But these are rare cases,
Mhm.
especially in this the modern porn, because now everybody's a porn star.
I
Everyone is a
know.
porn star now. I'm like, Jesus, you must be really good. And I ask like, okay, what movies, what are your awards? I'm on OnlyFans. I'm like, okay.
What is OnlyFans anyways? Tell us what OnlyFans is, because some of us are not aware.
Imagine, so now Instagram has subscriptions, you know that.
Yes.
You can sell, so it's similar to social media where you sell subscriptions, but you can post whatever you want. Is no limits. The,
Oh,
anything, literally. I was there, I was teaching nude yoga for a while, which was good for me because I was like my transition from porn and back to my yoga, back to my things, and I could
mhm.
show people. But people don't let it go, because if I show a nipple, it's already like, oh, it's only the nipple. They don't focus on what I'm talking anymore. So I let it go. But this is OnlyFans. You have a bunch of couples or people who just make their own homemade production, and they make
Yes.
actually really good money on it. I made good money there. Like it's not. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I should go back because it's kind of like you can do your own content just like we do for Instagram. You don't need to have sex actually. Some girls, they're just bikini models there. Of course, it makes more money as more explicit you are.
Right.
That's the thing. Yeah. But it's kind of not really regulated. That's what I
Mhm.
don't like, because I know some people like who had their pictures there or videos, like revenge porn. So
Yes. And that's another thing about porn that is really bad. It's the revenge porn. I believe the revenge porn, the incest porn that's going on now, that's supposedly really big, and also the pedophile porn, the little girl porn.
it's a
All of
trend.
that is so destructive to our souls. And so many people are getting into that. And pedophilia is becoming so out there, so open, and it's just crazy that destroys children. uh so pornography has really taken a very bad turn. I mean, when I was in my 20s, and so, you know, me and my husband, you know, we would like look at a porn movie sometimes, just, you know, for fun, to just, you know, change up the sex.
Yeah.
And it was very simple, you know, the pizza guy coming to the door, or
Yeah.
you know, the photocopy.
Vanilla,
What was
very
that?
vanilla porn.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And but what they're showing now is really destructive. And yeah. Also, and on Pornhub, um Pornhub is in real deep trouble. They it may even be shutting down soon, which would be actually probably be very good. Yes, because people are uploading rapes that they have done. Some of them to girls that are underage, and Pornhub allows it to be on, even though they have, you know, it's destroying these girls' lives, because here, you know, they you know, they could have been drugged, or they, you know, could have had too much alcohol or whatever, and they may not be you know, conscious of what's going on. And then finding out, you know, their families and their friends and everybody finds out that they've been raped, or, you know, or considered doing porn on,
With
yeah,
some cases worse, for some families it'll be even worse, like you did it intentionally, you know, they
yes,
will blame the girl always, like saying she did it intentionally, she's a slut or something. It's like they're
yeah,
allowing it. The Pornhub thing for me is like, okay, most of these hubs, these tubes sites, they have a verification system, right?
mm-hmm.
That allow you to be paid to upload your videos. That we call the amateur programs, especially on Pornhub. I was there. I was for a few years in my career. I had an account there.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, at the same time, any person can upload anything without a document as well. So you just create your own page, like Facebook, and you can upload without verifying who are the people in that video, without showing, because not for us, amateurs, they're called amateur. We need to have we call, I think it's 2273. I'm not sure, I forgot the name. Is the regulation in USA. Is you need to have a document proving that, okay, this person here is a ghost now. The ghost agreed to do a movie with me and upload it to Pornhub, so I
Mm-hmm.
can get paid. But however, in general, people don't do it. That's why they're allowed to upload this type of videos.
Oh.
Nobody look into it, actually. They do, because I know, for example, I had a video I did many years ago, beginning of my career, with my ex-husband, and he had children screaming. You could hear from far away, because you were like, the windows were open, so you could hear the
Oh,
children like playing far away. And Pornhub said like you cannot upload it because you can hear children in the background, but they're like really far, but you can hear like they go screaming, they're playing something, right? And
yeah.
that they deleted it. But I believe they just look into it because I have a verified account. That's the
Oh,
only reason they look into it, you know. Otherwise, you just, whatever, you can upload whatever you want. Because I see sometimes like, even if it's not the content, the exactly content, people use also very deceiving titles to call people attention, and it's still also very damaged, you know, like, because you see what people are looking, because for example on X videos you can see how many times those people look into it, into
mm-hmm.
those titles. And what you are saying about the incest and also the pedophilia is becoming, not becoming, they are trying to normalize it.
Yes.
Everyone, everyone is like, oh, it's okay, you know, like they used to do it in the past. It's just because, now, the girls are getting bigger or like they look like women. No, because most of the videos were pedophiles, because the girls, they look very young.
Yes.
They don't look like, they don't have breasts, they don't have a full woman body shape, I think.
Mhm.
What do
Yeah.
you think, in your opinion, would be like, besides killing the porn industry? That is our vote, definitely. Would be, I don't say like a total solution, because things will always be here, unfortunately, especially because of the internet.
Mhm.
But what do you think, like, your opinion? This, okay, you mentioned sexual education. How could we help people more, like, understand that this is not a health lifestyle, is not, in my case, for example, for the adults in the porn industry, but in your case, the consumer as well.
Well, there's a lot of problems these days with porn addiction. And porn addiction is absolutely huge. Like I've gone on some websites that try to help porn addiction, and they have like 800,000 members, and these
Yeah.
are all people trying to get off of their porn addiction. I have people coming to me, mostly men, every once in a while women, but mostly men, that have said to me, I'm 16 years old, or I'm 25 years old, and I have a porn addiction and I can't get off of it and I don't know what to do. And believe it or not, they somebody that is I in a lot of cases, they don't think that they have an addiction, or they don't think it's a problem, yet they're watching porn movies like 7 times a day. And how much time is being wasted that they could be
True.
doing other things. And I find that they really kind of decide that there is some kind of problem when they have things like ED. Like a
Hmm.
20 something year old man should not be having ED, because ED is usually a problem with blood flow. Well, it's not a problem with blood flow. They're losing their essence.
Yeah.
They're
The
everything.
interesting,
What was that?
maybe as well.
Yeah,
Like
they're
the I need more.
oh yeah, it's a dopamine hit. So what
Yeah.
happens is it changes the neurotransmitters in their brain so that they're constantly needing that dopamine hit. And the more they
Yeah.
do it, the less the dopamine hit becomes effective. So they need more and they need different. And that's why they go down that rabbit hole of, oh, MILF. Oh, incest porn.
It's
Oh,
going.
yeah. So it's like this
Yeah.
rabbit hole that they keep
Yeah.
going down until they're, in a lot of cases, they're very um dissatisfied with their life. They're dissatisfied by themselves. Their soul is crying, like, what are you doing? And by that time, they have this inability to stop. It's really
Mm.
quite sad. And
It
depending
is.
on how long it's been, trying to curb that appetite is very difficult. So it takes I'm not going to say it takes a long time to stop porn, because there's some people that can do it right away, but
Mm.
there's always relapse. There's always if something is going wrong in your life, it's a great escapism.
True.
They don't know how to talk to women So again, they're sheltered in this little box. Well, okay, I can't go out there and I can't meet women and I can't talk to them and I don't know how. So I'll just sit in my room and, jerk off. Sorry.
True.
But
It's the
basically
word. It's fine.
jerk off
Yeah,
to a screen, right?
it's true.
So
It is.
it's probably one of the worst addictions that there is.
I
And
think
it's
so. I'm listening to you and I'm just like so many things coming to my mind. I'm sorry. No, because first you said about the 20 something years old boys with ED, which is true because in porn, one thing like I wish I saw today somebody post about it and I was so happy about how porno actors are not real. We are actors.
right.
That's why I say porn actors.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I see that in porn, for example, I work with some guys more or less average, the age is always like over 24,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and goes up. But my guys were always like 24 to 40 something, And I can tell you that 99% of the porn actors, no one has a natural erection. No, none of them. Either they use Viagra or an injection to get an
Really?
erection. Yeah.
Oh.
So even the young boys, and I was like in shock with the young guys because I was like, dude, you are 20 something, you're gonna destroy your body with those injections. Because at one point they don't have we the girls we comment with each other like they don't have feelings anymore, they don't
Right.
feel anything, so they can be there boom 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 boom, they have no emotion, like you are there dead probably because he doesn't know what they space out, but they're there ta, 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 hitting in the thing like an angry hammer, and you're like, okay, slow down, dude, slow down, and their action doesn't stop, like it stopped them from actually ejaculating naturally, most of them,
Mm-hmm.
which is also another thing, like when people see all these beautiful loads, of his sperm,
Yes. The,
most
the
of the
load
time it's
shot.
not. Yes, most of the time it's not real, and that was what you say. Like it made me sad as well to see the young guys. I was like, come on, young, handsome guys in this industry. Which what you said as well about the confidence is interesting because you're talking about clients, but it's no different from the porn actors because they have a lot of frustration. They make much less than the woman in the industry. They are not well recognized. There's very few of them who are well recognized, right? And you cannot have a natural erection. And some of them, like in private, because I date porno actor, like doesn't work in
Mm.
private life. You need to have a jab or something going on there, like otherwise it doesn't work.
Yeah, we only see one side. And I thank you
Mm-hmm.
so much for talking about this because we really need to hear what the other side is about
Yeah.
because we don't get that information. Yeah.
Everything is beautiful, like it shows because like you have this illusion like everything is beautiful, the woman is always horny,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't think I done many scenes like this, but I disliked like when I see these scenes like, oh, you need to beg for his penis, and I'm like, say how much, I'm like, I'm not doing that, dude. It's like, let's change this script, let's do something, it sounds so like fake,
Yeah,
which
it
like
is.
how you go in normal life, and then they think like in real life, because I see guys doing it in real life before they know that I did porn, they're like, oh, tell me you want my penis, like handling it like
Mm,
I'm like, ugh. Like, nah, thank you, but no. Like,
yeah.
I go grab something to eat, and the other thing it's better. And
Yeah.
what you mentioned also, I know I talk a lot, I'm sorry, because it's just
No,
like so many
that's
things in my
great.
head now.
Yeah.
Because you were saying, and is interesting. Then the other side, my observation now about clients, because I did escort as well, right?
Okay.
And what you said about being the blow up doll, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So when I did escort, they expect me to act like I was doing in the movies. And I was like, I'm lazy. I'll just lay here and you do your own thing. Literally, like, I'm not gonna do a performance. I don't wanna do a show for you. You know, the movie is the movie, me, it's me, and I'm tired, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
and I have this, and I saw like very closely men lose a lot of money and is spending a lot of money with us porn stars on the hope that we gonna be with them or they can buy us. And
Mm.
I'm sorry if you're watching this, but it's quite funny. If you sorry, little
Yeah.
petty Bruna. No, but yeah, you know, so it is like embarrassing because they don't want what you said about your experience with dating. They don't want you to be you.
No.
They don't want to know you. They don't want to understand every inch of your body because I think for us women, like we kind of know where to touch our man. You know, if you have a certain intimacy, most of them they don't care.
No. No. There's nothing.
Plain,
Yeah.
no, just
There.
like let me hit that thing.
Yeah. There have been many times, like when I was doing the online dating, that I would just kind of give into it. You know, it's like, okay, this is the way it is. So if I did like the person, yes, I would have sex. But what would happen was every time that it was a reoccurring, is that every time it would turn into a porn movie scene. I would be transported into their porn fantasy. And I'm like, why is this happening? This I'm not a porn star. That this isn't what I signed up for. And it kept happening over and over again when I realized that the same scenes were being played out over and over again, but with different men. I'm going, okay, what is happening here is that I am becoming their porn fantasy. And
Yeah.
I do not want this. This is not what I want. So, and again, that's again why I stopped doing online dating, because I did not want to be their porn fantasy.
And nowadays, if you date somebody, do you recognize it already? Like, oh, hold on, I'm going to your crazy fantasy. I don't want it. How do you set that boundary? Because I think this is very important, especially for women. Like, how to hold on, darling. I don't gonna be your next porn star here.
Right. Well, for me, because I am so into Tantra, first of all, I don't do a lot. I know people think because I'm in Tantra, like I'm having sex all the time,
Hmm.
but it's not. I'm
I love you. I love it.
yeah,
I love you're saying that because they think the same about me. And I'm like, I don't do it.
yeah,
I don't go around and sleep with everybody. They don't
yeah,
believe me. They don't believe
yeah,
that.
yeah. So what in Tantra is called sacred union. And although a lot of people ask, I don't do it because to me, the person has to be special. It has to be intimate. So I get a lot of requests for certain things, and I'm just like, no, I'll wait. I'll wait till somebody special comes along. And I did have a very special person for a year, and it was he just was totally he was a person that did tantra and understood tantra, and so our relationship was it started off as a friendship, and it was a friendship for a long time before we got into doing sex. But the sex was beautiful because it was intimate and loving, and it was sacred. And I just won't do that anymore. I just won't do it unless I find somebody that is worthy of my love, is worthy of my vulnerability, and worthy of my body. And there's not that many around that are. So
No.
yeah.
Yeah, we need somebody who doesn't drain our energy, because I do believe like during
Yes.
sex, like we exchange a lot of
Yes.
energy, and we end up picking up all the, even Tantra Christianity also talks about it. Like when during sex, we exchange a lot, and like Christian, they say like, oh, you give pieces of your soul, right? And in yoga, we're more like, okay, this is your energy, and you are taking and you are giving. So it's important, I think, to people to know, like, okay, what am I giving and what I'm receiving?
Mm-hmm.
Because even during when I did porn, I was always like trying to protect this energy. Like I will do a whole like ritual before and after, because as you said, it's a very low energy environment. So I
Mm-hmm.
had to be careful, because otherwise I'll go where most of my colleagues, my co-workers are nowadays, trapped in this, going in circles forever. Good for them if they are happy, but I'm on a different vibe, different lifestyle. So it's true what you said, and I think it's worth waiting as well. Like, I spent, because I was so desperate for love and in the belief that nobody will accept me because what I did, I end up giving all of my love and my soul to somebody who didn't deserve it all, you
Yes,
know.
that happens to women a lot.
Oh, it was like, and it's still haunting me. That's the worst thing. Like,
Mhm.
it's still like the fear, like I'm scared of getting somebody similar. So I'm like, now I'm learning. I met somebody and I'm learning like how to open my heart again to this person, because he's really special for me. But always come that little like, oh, be careful. You're gonna be the same, or something gonna happen, So it is important who we share our intimacy time with. It's very important.
It is very important, yeah. And I think also the second part to answering that question is a woman needs to really put up boundaries and consent. It's really, really important. And a, a guy needs to earn, that part of you. Um, they need to understand that it's a woman's body, like you're actually entering a woman's body.
Yeah.
And for men to just expect that, it's just, oh yeah, I can do that, it's nothing. It is something. It is something, and the woman, when that happens, she is taking in their energy, and that energy is entering her body.
Yeah.
So it needs to be of a very high vibration.
True. And I think also one thing I would say for the ladies out there, like when it's about setting the boundaries, is like that with you, and it's okay. Let them be upset, let them be angry, like, oh, she didn't want me, she refused me. They're gonna be upset, of course. Try to walk away, because men, when they are rejected, they can get weird.
Mhm.
Don't stay around, don't be there around. Walk away, literally, like cut and move on. But don't fear like, oh, I'm gonna lose my friend. He's not your friend if he's only interested in having sex with you. He's not
Exactly.
your friend if he's like, I don't want to talk to you anymore, or change the friendship because he didn't have sex with you. So
Next.
don't, yes, give the Ariana Grande, bye next.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
and Jaylala, let me ask you one more thing. I know we are almost running over our time, but I want to ask some things for you. Um, can you tell me, please, because I saw some of your speed dating events. Can you tell me how it works?
Okay,
Sounds cool.
so it's a tantra speed dating events, and when you when do regular speed dating events, it's a very superficial thing. So it's you meet people, you're with them for like I don't know, 5 minutes, and the questions are very superficial. Where do you live? What do you do for a living? What car do you drive?
True.
Let's have sex.
How much you make a year?
How
That's
much?
on the
Yes, it's all very, very superficial. So with the tantra way, first of all, I start off with meditations and tantra rituals and eye gazing ceremonies and just heart opening ceremonies. And then when it comes time for meeting people, I have a list of questions, and it's probably about 30-35 long. And these questions are very heart opening. It's, things that make people actually talk to each other.
Mhm.
What was the best vacation that you had and why? Who is the most influential person that you've met? Just things like that really get people actually talking, and they're all on there's probably about, I don't know, 10 different categories. And so you just kind of go through the list of the different ones that you want, and you get a better perspective of what this person is like. It's
Yeah.
quite interesting.
That sounds cool. I was looking around and like snooping on your things, and then I saw it. I was like, God, it sounds cool. 'Cause I never heard. I used to do speed go to speed dating back in the days. I don't gonna say the year, whatever. Anyway, next. So, and another question. One last question for you. Like, not last. I'm lying to you, actually. It's not the last. But what is the most like techniques you use, like you feel that is really like effective when you help people who come to you with situations like ED or porn addiction? What is the approach like you give? I want to know more, like we want to know more, like how is your work, how you deliver it?
Okay, so first of all, they fill out an intake form, which has a lot of different questions. And usually the questions is, do you watch porn? How often? What is um, do you masturbate to porn? Would you rather have a real woman or watch porn? Just to kind of get to
Mm,
know where their head is at. Asking different problems. Why did you come here today? And then there's a list like ED, sex addiction, um, kink, like all these different things that I
uh-huh.
put out, and then they tell me what it is, and from there I kind of get a profile of who they are and where they need work in. And
Mm-hmm.
then I have a program that I have made up. It's a 6-week program, and it deals with inner child issues, because if the inner child is not uh, satisfied, if it's unhappy, if there's problems with inner child needs to be worked on, the person will as soon as they get into a situation where it's stressful, they'll return to habits. So I do inner child work. I do self-esteem work. I work on learning how to, let's see, learning how to talk to women, and learning how to have sex with women. Very important is boundaries and consent. A lot of men out there don't know about boundaries and consent, and they really need to. So it goes through a couple of different levels. And I also use my my Reiki. I use my Reiki. I use my theta healing. Like when I do my healing, it's a combination of everything. So it's a combination of the Tantra and combination of actually getting them into more of a spiritual way of loving themselves, of taking down that armor and opening their heart. It's a process. But I do have a 6-week program that I have.
And where can we, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Go on.
So I did send you the email with that information, and unfortunately, there was a problem today. You didn't get it, but you know, I think when this plays, that information will be there. And if they come to me and they say, I got, you know, this information from your podcast with Bruna, I will take a $200 deduction off. So
cool, we love discounts. We love discounts. It'll be awesome. And I have one different question to ask you. Do you think also like your work would be helpful to people in the industry? Because I feel like we don't have it, like we don't have much support, right? We have these companies who do now the positive porn stuff, which sometimes I feel also like kind of confusing. The information is not really, they want to talk about Tantra, but they only talk about sex Tantra, like the superficial part of Tantra. They don't want to go deeper. And so do you think like it will be useful for the people in the industry as well, actors, directors, to have this education as well?
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be totally and completely amazing, because it kind of starts with them, right? It starts with the people in the industry and what they're allowing themselves to do. So I believe that if they were educated more, and like you said, you didn't know while you were doing that work that you were influencing 12-year-old boys. So I think major education in the porn industry would be wonderful. I would love to do that.
That would be cool. We should talk about it. Maybe we can
Yes.
use some connections, and do something that would be really interesting. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Jaylala, for your time. Thank you for being here. I'm gonna leave your social media, all the links. I hope my email works actually after this, please.
Well, if it doesn't, I'll get it to you some other way. We'll talk after.
Yeah. Hopefully, no, because it's weird. Like I had my boyfriend text me, emailed me as well, and it is not working. So I don't know. Like I'm not getting anything. Yeah. So I think maybe it's full. It doesn't say it's full, but some problem. I don't know. Anyway, thank you very much for your time. Namaste. It was lovely, and don't forget to go look for Jaylala and get the 200 off.
Yes.
It'll be good. Thank you very much. Bless you.
Bless you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.